Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage members of the Louisiana Community and Technical College Board of Supervisors. From New Orleans, Board Chairman Woody Auger. From Baton Rouge, First Vice Chair Tim Hardy. Supervisor Helen Bridges Carter from Greensburg. Supervisor Joe Potts from Metairie. Supervisor Stevie Toops from Baton Rouge. From Monroe, Supervisor Benson Kinney. From Franklin, Vincent St. Blanc. And from New Orleans, Steve Hepperly. We would also like to welcome LCTCS Vice President David Helveston. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. And now, Vice President for Workforce, Career, and Technical Education, David Helveston.
Good afternoon and welcome. As we come together for our 13th annual conference, we seek to learn new ideas and celebrate the accomplishments of the past year. Before we begin our program, we'd like to take a few moments to recognize some special guests who've joined us today. Commissioner of Higher Education, Dr. Joe Rallo, and Chairman of the Board of Regents, Mr. Richard Lipsey. Thank you for joining us here today. Today, we focus our attention on the critical needs of our state, on strengthening relationships with business and industry, on our Louisiana 2020 agenda, and investing in our people, our conference theme. We have with us today a leadership team, a great leadership team, that I'd like to take a moment to ask to stand to recognize them. At Baton Rouge Community College, Interim Chancellor Dennis Michaelis. Chancellor at Bossier Parish Community College, Rick Bateman. From Central Louisiana Technical Community College, Jimmy Sawtell. From Delgado Community College, Chancellor Joan Davis. Chancellor at Fletcher Technical Community College, Christine Strickland. Chancellor Barbara Hanson from Louisiana Delta Community College. From North Shore Technical Community College, Chancellor Will Wainwright. From Northwest Louisiana Technical College, Interim Director Diane Clark. From Nunez Community College, Chancellor Tommy Warner. Chancellor Dale Doty from River Parishes Community College. Director at South Central Louisiana Technical College, Earl Metter. From South Louisiana Community College, and unable to join us today, Chancellor Natalie Harder. And from Sewella Technical Community College, Chancellor Neil Aspinwall. Thank you for all that you do for Louisiana. Today's program will begin shortly with a very special message from our keynote speaker, followed by the presentation of the Murphy J. Foster Award for Extraordinary Contributions to Community and Technical Colleges in Louisiana. But first, I'd like to recognize the exhibitors and sponsors who have shown their commitment to community and technical colleges in Louisiana by their support. We appreciate the support that you provide to make this conference a success. Thank you to our exhibitors and our sponsors. I urge you to visit their booths, to thank them for their commitment to our colleges, and to find out about their products and services. Also, we'd like to take a moment to recognize a few of the generous companies and thank them for their support today. The Rise and Shine breakfast this morning was sponsored by Jones Walker. Here representing Jones Walker are Patty Dunbar, Fred Chevalier, and Matthew Kern. Please stand to be recognized. This morning's refreshment in our vendor gallery was sponsored by Brazil, Saxe, and Wilson. Here representing Brazil, Saxe, and Wilson is Bob Boucher. Please stand, Bob. Thank you. And we'd like to give a very special thanks to our sponsor, Praxair, who made this luncheon possible today. Unfortunately, they couldn't join us, but we sincerely appreciate their support. Thank you, Praxair. Please join me in giving a very large thank you to all of our sponsors for this event. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the president of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System, Dr. Monty Sullivan.
Good afternoon. It is great to be with you. Welcome, as David said a few minutes ago, the 13th annual LCTCS annual conference. What an extraordinary event. What a great deal of work that has gone into this event for each one of you. I hope you've already had an opportunity to enjoy some of those sessions. I know that you look forward to the rest of our conference, and we have a great event planned for you today. Very special guest joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to the man on the music box. Also the guy that created much of the video you saw earlier, Chancellor at Central Louisiana Technical Community College, Jimmy Sawtell. Thank you, Jimmy. To our board, to our leadership team, without you, none of this is possible. To our faculty and staff, you are the foundation that advances the mission for our colleges. And today, and over the next 2 days, we're here to invest in you. We made a commitment 2 years ago that even in the most difficult financial times, we would spend our resources in a way that invests in our people, ensuring that people had access to the latest professional development, and we're continuing along that path. Thank you for taking advantage of the opportunity. Today, I am absolutely thrilled to bring to you our keynote speaker. We have invited a man with vision for change, changing the landscape of the state of Louisiana. Governor John Bel Edwards recognizes the needs in the workforce, the needs across Louisiana's higher education landscape, and is committed to finding a solution. I want to tell you a bit of personal experience that I've had with this governor. Over his time in office, I can tell you that on numerous occasions, we have sat at the table, rolled up our sleeves, and had real earnest conversations about how we advance higher education and the workforce agenda in Louisiana. This is a gentleman that not only cares about higher education and the work that you do, but he also cares about and subscribes to one of those key characteristics of our organization. And you've heard us say it many times before, people matter. This is a governor who not only says people matter, he lives people matter. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present to you the Honorable John Bell Edwards.
Thank you. I thought I was coming over for a small gathering today. Thank you for being here, Monty. Thank you very much for that introduction. I want to thank all of you for being here and for allowing me to spend some time with you. I want to thank especially the board of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System for the hard work that each of you do. But before I go any further, I want to especially thank those people here who work with our students across the state every day, making sure that we have the best educated, trained workforce that we can under some very challenging circumstances, and making their jobs much easier. Those of you here with us today who actually are contributing private dollars towards this effort at a time when we need them more than ever before. And so I want to thank all of you, and I know that Praxair is a big sponsor of today's event. I want to thank those folks for their good work as well. But I want to spend a few minutes today talking to you about some of the real opportunities that we have in Louisiana to move our state forward, but also not ignoring the challenges that are presently before us. And I want to encourage all of you to work with me and with my administration, with the legislature, to make sure that we do move forward together. I've always had an opportunity to work with the folks in the community technical college system. I represented a very rural, poor area. Miss Helen Carter is here. She knows what I'm talking about. And I know the opportunities that are made available to young men and women all across our state through this system. And I am so excited about being here and telling you about my plans for the future for Louisiana, and specifically how it relates to this particular system. And your conference theme is investing in our people. That's a theme for my administration as well. And it's one that I firmly believe is vital to the success of our state. If we don't invest in our people, especially our young folks in Louisiana, they'll find some other state that does. And I always say this, but I say it because it's true. The most precious natural resource that God has entrusted to us is not the Mississippi River out there. It's not the fertile soil or the Gulf Coast or the timber that grows or the oil and gas that's under the ground. It's our children. And we have to do a better job in Louisiana investing in them. While we can never guarantee equality of outcomes, we had better be in the business of guaranteeing equality of opportunity. You all know that. That's what you do each and every day. And so I want to thank you for your efforts. As you know, the Louisiana Community Technical College system has a proven record of success. Last year, under some very difficult circumstances, had the largest number of graduates in the system's history. And Monty, from what I understand, you're actually on track this year to beat last year's number. So I want to salute you for that. And I want to thank you. And I want to thank you for your ability to do that with a much smaller state general fund investment than should certainly be the case. And in fact, we're spending less per graduate than just about anywhere else in the country. And while on one hand that is an accomplishment, on the other hand, it's not much to brag about. And we can't continue to do that forever. And you've probably heard me say this before, but I'll say it again because it's true. You cannot always do more with less. For if that were true, one day you could do everything for nothing. It doesn't work that way at my house. It doesn't work that way at your house. It doesn't work that way in your businesses. And it certainly doesn't work that way for the state of Louisiana. And why is it important? Recent graduates of this system earned a total of $723 million in 2014. And we know that the vast majority of these graduates stay right here in Louisiana, spending that money right here. And I can tell you, like I've never known before, I know how important $700 million is. The community college system is also, the technical and community college system, also important workforce entry points for non-traditional students. Students in Work Ready U, Louisiana's comprehensive adult education system, rank among the best in the country for basic skill attainment. In fact, number 15 in the nation, and overall academic performance is number 16 in the nation. So thank you for what you're doing. And this is particularly important right now because we know that in one generation's time, in order to be successful, we are transitioning from a point where about 25% of the people needed some education and training beyond high school to where 2/3 or more are going to need education and training beyond high school. And we can't get there if we focus solely on those people who are in K through 12 today. If we want to make Louisiana able to compete with the rest of the country and allow our citizens to have those jobs that are going to be available, we have to bring adults back into the system. And so you're doing it extremely well, and I want to thank you. One of the reasons so many of your graduates stay in Louisiana is because of the education and workforce training that your institutions provide directly prepare students for jobs in our leading industries. And in fact, you're more responsive in this regard than anybody else in the state. And I ran for governor for many reasons, but chief among them is this one. If we have students in Louisiana, if our grandchildren decide they want to leave our state to pursue some educational opportunity elsewhere, to get a good job or have a rewarding career in another state, then God bless them, we should wish them well. But if our children in Louisiana are deciding that they have to leave our state to get a good education, to have a shot at a rewarding career, a good job, then we are failing those kids. And you are not failing the kids in your system. And I want to thank you for that. So you prepare our students to be successful. You give them the skills and the education necessary to compete, and then you connect them with workforce opportunities. By partnering with business and industry, you set our students up for success, and you also promote economic development for the state. Workforce availability, productivity, the level of skill, all are frequently cited as top decision factors for site selectors. Businesses trying to decide if they're going to move to Louisiana or they're going to expand operations that are already here. And so you help to position Louisiana to be competitive. And we need a concerted focus on the most crucial workforce priorities throughout the workforce development pipeline. At our community technical colleges, you've worked especially hard on those priorities. And because of your efforts, the LCTCS partnerships with business and industry increased by 150% in 1 year's time from 2014 to 2015. You now have 607 partners in 2015, up from 244 a year before. The LED, thank you. And thank you partners as well. The LED Fast Start program has worked extensively with community and technical colleges and consistently is regarded as one of the best state workforce development programs in the entire country. In fact, the Certified Workforce Developer Program was developed as a result of the successful partnership between LED, Fast Start, and your community and technical college system. So we're doing a lot of things right, but we have challenges that are going to impair our ability to continue to do things right, to continue to improve as we all want to do, to continue to serve our students, to be successful, to position the state to compete. And certainly our current budget situation is not helpful. Education is not simply an expenditure. Education is an investment in our future economic prosperity. I understand that. Obviously, you understand that. I understand the value of our community technical colleges and all of our institutions of higher education. And I want to tell you, that's one of the precise reasons why I did not want to present that budget earlier this week, where we're going to take cuts in higher education, including in the community and technical college system, where we can't fund our TOPS program, where we're leaving safety net hospitals unfunded, where we're cutting $50 million out of K through 12 education. We don't have the ability to spend the money we need to house inmates or do any of the basic functions of state government. And this is not how I wanted to spend my first several months in office as governor. But I am absolutely convinced that we have to put our state back on a path towards prosperity, one with stability. We are going to do that. And then we are going to strategically reinvest in our state. And there is not a higher priority for me than in higher education, because it isn't just the problems we're having this year. We know that for 8 straight years, Louisiana led the nation in terms of our state general fund cuts to higher education. Again, we're at the top of a very bad list. We cannot stay there and be competitive. We cannot stay there and create the conditions that will allow for more opportunity for our kids to stay here and be successful. But the simple fact of the matter is, I inherited the largest budget deficit in the history of our state. I knew when I was running for governor we had a structural budget deficit. I did not know. Nobody ever told me it would be $2 billion. But it is a challenge that I am committed to overcoming with your help. With your help, we will make that happen. And I want you to know, everything is related. It is precisely because of the Medicaid expansion that we're going to save $184 million this year that I was able to reduce, I should say, the amount of cut that we were going to give to higher education. And we were able to put $30 million back towards higher education. But we're not finished, because $46 million cut is still unacceptable to me. I know that with the TOPS cuts looming, that while the community and technical college system doesn't participate in that funding to the degree that other systems do, it is still under the current configuration of how LOSFA allocates any appropriations that don't fully fund TOPS, that you would eat about $10 million of that. That's not acceptable to me. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to work to make sure that whatever money is appropriated for TOPS gets allocated on a pro rata basis so that every student with a TOPS scholarship will receive some funding. But most importantly, I'm going to work to make sure that before the fall semester starts, we will fully fund TOPS and that they will reverse these state general fund cuts to higher education. We're going to have to do that in a second special session. And you know, we had a special session already this year. We had a $2 billion problem, and thankfully that has been whittled down. But the $750 million is still too large. That shortfall will not allow us to fund critical priorities that the overwhelming majority of the people in this room and around the state believe to be critical for the future of our state. And so we're going to have a second special session. And I'm asking you now to join with me and make sure that the people all across Louisiana, but especially in that capital, understand the importance of generating the revenue that is necessary to invest strategically in your system and all of higher education. I need your help because, quite frankly, there are a number of legislators, and it's a small number, the vast majority are working in good faith with me, but to structurally change things in Louisiana and to generate more revenue, it requires supermajorities. And so you cede control of these issues to minorities when that is the case. And I happen to believe that that's probably appropriate, that you have to have a 2/3 vote to raise revenue. But for those individuals in the legislature who refuse to either endorse and stand by cuts to spending or to vote for revenue, they are the most irresponsible of all, because we have a constitutional obligation to balance our budget. And when you have a state general fund shortfall in the amount of $750 million, you can only do that by cutting expenditures, raising revenue, or doing some combination of the both. It is that balanced approach of both raising revenue and cutting, both strategically done, that I am pursuing. And so I'm asking you to work with me, to talk to your legislators, make sure that they understand the importance of all of us working together, not as Republicans, not as Democrats, but let's be Louisianans, and let's get this job done. We can do it. We will do it. The stakes are too high. The consequences are too dire. We cannot fail our children. We cannot fail our state. And in fact, you are all in the business of making sure that we're successful. So again, I want to thank you for allowing me to spend this time with you today. I want you to know that while much of what I said is certainly not positive, that I remain extremely excited about our future. I am bullish about Louisiana. I am as optimistic as I have ever been. And I want you to share my optimism. But in the short term, I'm asking you to share my resolve to work together to fix our problems. And for those of you here who are in private business, if you see some proposal coming from the administration as we move forward that you don't like, that you find to be particularly onerous, I would ask you to share that with me. But I would ask that rather than simply engaging in criticism, that you engage in constructive criticism and come to me, to my administration, and say, you know, we hear what you're saying, but we think there's a better way, a way that gets you at least part way down the road to where you're trying to go, that is better for us. And we want to work with you to get there. Because if we will do that, if we will collaborate and discuss things in good faith, we can move forward. What we cannot do in Baton Rouge is what they're currently engaging in Washington, D.C., where you have different groups who never even bother to talk anymore. They never work to try to find the common ground so that they can figure out a good starting point to move forward together. As your governor, I commit to you today and every day going forward, that will not happen in Baton Rouge so long as I am governor. We are going to work hard, we're going to work together, we're going to communicate, and we're going to find a way forward with your help. Now, lastly, I traveled the state for over 2 years, every nook and cranny, every corner. And I always ask people for votes and for prayers. I am standing before you today precisely because I got enough votes. But a governor of a state in our situation can never have enough prayers. I happen to believe in the awesome power of prayer. And I don't want them all for myself. I would ask that you pray for our state and for all of our leaders so that we can come together and so that we can work together and improve our state. And I want to thank you in advance for everything you're doing in that regard. I want to thank you in advance for your support, for your prayers. And I want to encourage you to continue to work hard every day to make our state a better place, a place that is worthy of our kids and our grandkids, so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where the only time we see them is when they come home for Christmas. And I don't want that just for my children. I want that for all of our children. I know that's what you want as well. So let's work together. Let's get it done. God bless all of you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of your Board of Supervisors, Woody Auger.
Thank you. What a crowd. This is wonderful. Give yourselves a round of applause. And thank you, Governor Edwards, for those inspiring words. It's always welcome here to this group. What a wonderful opportunity for our faculty and staff to be here and hear you. You remember last year, we recognized our former governor, Mike Foster, with the inaugural Mike Foster Award. This year, we would like to recognize a man who has for years supported community and technical colleges, has served our nation and the state of Louisiana in many capacities, as a serviceman in the U.S. Army, as a former state legislator, and now as the governor of our state. He has supported many pieces of legislation that have helped to advance the mission of community colleges in the inception of the WISE program, such as facilities and tuition equalization. He has always been a supporter and advocate of the work that we do to ignite the economy through workforce development. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present this year's Murphy J. Michael Foster Award for extraordinary contributions to community and technical colleges to the Governor of the State of Louisiana, Governor John Bel Edwards.
Thank you, Woody, and thank all of you. This is beautiful, and it will be on display at my office on the 4th floor. And so if you ever get an opportunity to come by and visit with me, you will see this. God bless y'all. Thank you again.
Congratulations, Governor Edwards. In our last few moments together this afternoon, we'd like to recognize our 7 meeting room sponsors: Industrial Training Solutions, Educational Technology Associates, representing Hire One, National Life Group, Lincoln Electric, Select Properties, and finally, College Inbound. Thank you for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you go out and enjoy all the sessions this afternoon. Please make a point to stop by the vendor booths. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, this session is now adjourned. Breakout sessions will begin again at 2:10 p.m. Be sure and take this time to visit our vendors before the next session and thank them for their support.